What's up, football fans? Welcome into NFL Daily by Chat Sports, and we do have at least some sort of breaking news. Aaron Rodgers yesterday informed the Steelers that he is going to be planning to sign a contract, which means it's in the works. Aaron Rodgers will be the next Pittsburgh Steelers quarterback, which isn't really that surprising. I feel like a lot of people saw this coming, and I just felt like we should start off with some concrete news before we get into the speculation of what's going on in the NFL, at least right now. Speaking of which, the main story right now that also came out yesterday, Terry McLaurin has grown increasingly frustrated with his contract negotiations. Underdog NFL on the report on this, by the way, who said Terry McLaurin was, quote, not in a great place right now with contract negotiations with the Washington Commanders, most likely seeking a new deal averaging at least $30 million per year. Now, we'll talk about the monetary side of everything here in just a little bit. But first, let's talk about Terry McLaurin's production on the field. I don't think we need to talk about where he comes from and what he's been in the NFL, because what he has been is the picture of consistency. In 2024, it's almost exactly copy-paste to what he's done since he's entered the league. I mean, just look at these numbers. Every single year, this is literally almost the exact same player every single season. And by the way, he's done this with less than great and less than ideal quarterback play up until the 2024 season with Jaden Daniels. So Terry McLaurin is obviously going to get a new contract. He is 100% deserving of it. But the real question now becomes, what do you pay him? Because he's not nearly as good as someone like a Jamar Chase or a Justin Jefferson or, hell, even CeeDee Lamb or DK Metcalf. But if you ask me, he's a hell of a lot better than Jalen Waddle. Waddle's not even the number one wide receiver on his team. Neither is T. Higgins. So we're looking at McLaurin probably somewhere right now between 7 and 5, at least in my opinion, which $30 million would put him right at tied for number 6 with Amon-Ra St. Brown, which I'm going to be honest with you, $30 million seems a little bit too high, at least for me. Now, I don't think he should be as low as outside of the top 10, but I would start at $25 million if I'm the GM and then work my way up. So you're not going to land on $25 million to start, because clearly he's looking for 30. So do you start at $25 million, go up to 27.5, 28.5, up to 30, and then kind of draw the hard line somewhere between 30 and 31 or 30 and 33? Who knows? I'm not in the Washington Commanders front office. They do have a new ownership group that is not afraid to spend money. We do know that for sure. So if it's me, I'm starting at the cheaper side of things with $25 million per year and then working my way up. Now, in the event that a deal has not going to be made or doesn't get done and Terry says, I want out of here, I'm going to request a trade. What are some potential locations and destinations that he could end up with? Well, I can tell you this right now. All of these teams right here could use a wide receiver of his caliber. The Patriots have Stephon Diggs, but let's be real, coming off of a major ACL injury and getting older, no longer in his, the top of his prime. He's on the downward slope of that prime. The Steelers, Browns, Chargers, and San Francisco 49ers could all use a wide receiver, that could potentially blow the game open for him. I know the Steelers have DK Metcalf, but a tandem duo of DK and Terry McLaurin to be insane, considering they traded away George Pickens to the Dallas Cowboys. All that to ask you this question. Would you pay Terry McLaurin $30 million per year? Yes or no? Super simple question. I'm going to say no right now. But again, with the way that the markets are reshaping themselves every single year and the salary caps go up every single year, the NFL gets even more money. I think it's going to happen, right? I'm not saying that that's outlandish, because most likely, if it's not the Commanders that pay him, it's going to be somebody else that pays him. Now, how about some other 2025 post-June 1st extension candidates? I feel like there's 4 players right now in the NFL that are eyeing new contracts that should probably see them happen at least at some point during the 2025 NFL season, if not before. So let's start off with the guy who I have first on my list. Another wide receiver, Courtland Sutton, who, let's face it, he's not going to get $30 million a year. Let's just call a spade a spade. He's probably closer to between $20 and $25 million a year than he is to 30. But with that being said, he's coming off of a really, really great season, cracked 1,000 yards, had 8 touchdowns. And where you're getting the value with Courtland Sutton is in his ability to find the end zone. He's not going to blow your brakes off with yards or receptions, right? He's not a Michael Thomas slant merchant, and he's not going to be, Jamar Chase in taking the top off you downfield. But what he is a reliable wide receiver one that is going to get somewhere between 20 and 30 million. And if it was going to be me right now on the dot, if I'm signing him to a contract extension, I'm signing him to a 3-year, $81.0 million per year contract, or not per year, excuse me. 3 years, $81 million, that's $27 million per year. Now, I did just mention that he's probably somewhere in the range of 20 to 25 million in terms of his talent. But as I said before, with the way that the wide receiver market is constantly resetting itself, you're probably going to be looking at paying something like this to Courtland Sutton anyway, because everybody's getting paid more. I mean, 5 years ago, we thought $50 million for a quarterback per year was insane. Now it's kind of considered a bargain. So do with what you will on this information as well. It's all speculation. Number 2, Trey Hendrickson. And Trey is probably the first guy on this list out of the next couple of guys that you're going to see that is going to be up at the very top of their respective markets. Trey is going to get $40 million a year. And I wouldn't pay him $40 million a year because I feel like you're basing this off of one amazing season, which last year was incredible. But let's be real. The Bengals are notoriously cheap. So I don't think they are going to end up paying Trey Hendrickson $40 million a year. I feel like he's going to get traded to another team that will end up paying him the $40 million a year. Myles Garrett reset the market for the Cleveland Browns. So my prediction is 4-year, $156 million, $39 million a year. I mean, if I'm Trey Hendrickson, I sign this immediately. I sign this like tomorrow. But he probably won't because, like I said, there's going to be a team that ends up paying him over $40 million a year. It's not going to be the Bengals. I can tell you that right now. They won't do it. And speaking of all the NFL teams that are out there paying players or not paying players, name a player that you think should get extended before the season starts. Let me know in the comment section down below, whatever player that may be. It could be a lower-end player. It could be a higher-end player. Either way, let me know in the comment section down below. And by the way, these NFL polos are 60% off right now. Perfect for the golf course, going to the beach, backyard barbecues. If you want to rep your favorite team all summer long, all you got to do is use this link that I've put in the comments and description of today's video. Start shopping with Fanatics today. Thank you, Fanatics, for, having our little handshake deal. By the way, it helps out the channel if you buy and use this link right here that I put in there. So start shopping right now. All right. Third one, Lamar Jackson. This is where you're going to really see some big numbers get thrown out. Spoiler alert, it's over $60 million for what I've got predicted for Lamar Jackson. Because when you start to look at the NFL quarterback market and you start to see what guys are currently getting paid right now, don't get it twisted. Josh Allen's numbers, he actually restructured his deal to get more money pushed down the road. So the Buffalo Bills are going to be paying Josh Allen like for the next 6 or 7 years. He's got so much money locked up in the future. And Lamar Jackson doesn't seem to be that type of player, right? Like he's not going to be a guy that he wants all of his money right now. And remember, we're talking about a multiple MVP winning quarterback. Somebody who has done it at the highest level, is one of the best in the NFL outside of a guy named Patrick Mahomes. There's a short list of him, Josh Allen, and Joe Burrow, who are unbelievable Hall of Fame level talents. So what's my prognostication for Lamar Jackson? 4-year, $250 million extension, which would put him at $62.5 million a year. And remember, Lamar Jackson is a player that he wants his money right now. He's going to take every bit of it, and that's fine. Every single player is different. So you're going to be looking at potentially a $225 million tied up for the next 4 years in Lamar Jackson, unless he restructures, which is always a possibility. Although with the way that Lamar has conducted his business, he doesn't have an agent. His mom kind of half represents him. Something tells me that that's not really in the cards. All right, our last one, James Cook. Now, James Cook is the lowest on this end, not only because he's a running back, but because out of these 4 players, he's probably the worst on the list. And it's close because he had a really good season last year. Not in terms of yards, but he found the end zone 16 times on the ground, twice through the air, 18 total touchdowns. Excuse me. And if we look at the highest paid running backs per year, I'm going to be honest with you. He's better than Ramondre, and he's probably right up there with David Montgomery and James Conner. But again, remember, the running back market is also getting reset. All of these markets get reset the more and more the cap space goes up here in the NFL. So I'm predicting a 4-year, $44 million deal, $11 million per year for James Cook. And that's about all that I would pay him. I don't think he's worth much more than that. He reportedly wants $15 million per year. I don't think that's in the cards for him. I don't think he's been good enough to earn that type of salary. But I would very much be interested in saying, look, we'll give you a 4-year, $44 million deal, and I'll even throw in $40 million guaranteed. So the other $4 million could be in incentives. So that would be $10 million per year, fully guaranteed. Now, he'd probably look at that as a slap in the face. But remember, I'm putting my GM cap on right now, and I'm thinking in terms of how the GMs would think. But, again, this is all speculation. All right, if you made it to the very end of today's video, make sure that you type real one in the comment section down below. It's always fun to see who watches the episode until the very end. Thanks for joining us. I'll be back sometime next week here on NFL Daily. Remember to like the video, subscribe if you already haven't. And as always, be cool.